Father, guide my mind, guide my tongue, guide my heart to be in alignment with your will. Let this be revelation, knowledge, and let truth reign. For you said the truth shall set us free. So right now, I just want to just let it be known, if you haven't watched the other videos, this is about the songwriter's secret, the witch language, the songs that we know and love from back in the 70s, 80s too, are laden with references to Lucifer, disguised as a man or a woman, sometimes as a little red Corvette, other times as Mary Jane. Slick Rick, he had a couple. Rick James, that is. He had a couple. No diss to Slick Rick the Ruler. But consider you and I, which you would think is me and a woman. You and I. You and I. Look at the lyrics. Again, we're talking about veiled Luciferianism, singing to Lucifer, which, you can feel the homosexual undertones of that. But a man singing his love and devotion to Lucifer as well, talking about how they fit together like a hand in glove, until the 6 is 9, and these occult references, that's a reference of the upside down thing, the inversion practices of Lucifer, such as the inversion of the pentagram. But you also have in the chorus, you have the Luciferian do as thou wilt philosophy played out in the chorus, in which they tell you in the end, basically, if you don't like it, you all can go to hell. And they sing hell, and we all know that part. When you're in the club, that part come on, everybody's getting geek. But again, I'm not saying these songs don't sound good. They don't have nothing to do with it. I was told everything looked good ain't good. But that is a thing of the flesh, lust of the eye, pride of life. And we find these examples again in song after song. I found them in more songs than I wanted to. I ran to certain artists and songs and said, not in this one. Even in your positive messages in the 70s, you find a new age philosophy, a man do as thou wilt thing going on. Even if you look at Cuba Gooding Jr.'s dad's group, led by Cuba Gooding Sr., the main ingredient. And the Most High told me the main ingredient was the soul. But the main ingredient is a song they got called Rolling Down a Mountainside. Very new agey. And when I say new agey, y'all, I'm going to have to do one on this for my conscious brothers, because there's a way that they disguise Luciferianism as black consciousness. And I went down through that. You're not talking to somebody that is lame to that overstanding. Started off in the Nation of Islam when I was 18. Read and followed the more traditional Muslim teachings after that. Dealt with the Ansar Allah community. I now am most closely related to what you might call an Israelite, but I don't belong to any particular community. And as you can see, I've shaved my beard and my head. I do as I'm told, and I don't belong to no one sect. And I roll where I gotta roll to get what the Most High has for me to deliver to the people. And people know that about me. But I digress. But we are going to deal with some things in another video about the New Age black. You know how you get everything black now. You buy your certain spirits to get intoxicated, and the hardest of spirits is ones that say black. I believe Seagram's black was one of the last of the spirits that I was partaking in when I partook of said things. But again, let's stick to the script. We are talking about spirits. We're talking about spirits in the machine. We're talking about the spirits that are conjured by using natural things. If you know anything about Wicca or other forms of so-called magic, you're manipulating the natural world around you. Music is just that. They're manipulating the cat guts strung on a piece of wood to make a guitar sound. They're manipulating the animal skin stretched across a barrel to make a drum sound. They're manipulating the metals, tapping the metals to create hi-hats and different things. And so it's a manipulation of the natural world, the natural materials around you that creates music. And it's part of why it is such a supernatural thing and why today we have the synthesizers. Spell of spelling, y'all. We're going to do a whole video on that because I'm sick with that. But it's lots of words, and it comes from writing rhymes. If you were a serious rhyme writer and you had your knowledge of self together, by now you'd be on this, and I'm sure some of you brothers are and sisters, and share with me, help enlighten me. Um, but yeah, so this songwriter's secret thing, y'all, it's way deep. It's about consulting the spirits in order to get the song. And the spirits will write to their master. They will cause you to write to their master, to dedicate your song to their master. And it will sound like to the layman, you're talking to a woman or a man. Now, this is something that you have to use your spiritual discernment to feel. Because, again, as I said in one of the other videos, and I try not to say the same thing, it's not 3 videos saying the same thing. Don't think that when you see one. You should look at the other 2 if you got something out of this one. I let the spirit guide me. And so something different is the subject of each one. And in this one, I wanted to focus on the spiritual aspect so we can get into the Project Janus part. The duality. Janus is a deity. If you watch football on Sundays, you might see a commercial for Janus. I believe it's a financial corporation. But Janus is symbolized with the 2-headed deity of Rome. And this project is called Project Janus because it also extends to the Gemini symbol, the laugh now, cry later symbol. Lots of famous lyricists are Gemini. Cube, Pac, Biggie, right off the Taurus cusp. But you have this duality, this dual nature that the devil needs in order to create a vessel that he can fill with a demon. And that vessel will overtake the one prior. You can't serve 2 masters. So they know by splitting you into 2, by allowing you to make 2 faces of yourself, like Face Off or Facebook, where you might call yourself Willie Getting Plenty Money Jones or something. And I know Willie Jones, I just thought of that. Man, I'm not talking about you. But, these ways to create other identities or altered states. Ooh, an altered beast. I just forgot about that video game. But there was also a HBO, I believe, series called The United States of Terra. Tera is the name of a chick who has multiple personalities. Now there are many of our sisters and brothers out here suffer from these same things. MK Ultra is a real program, and they have figured out ways to put the blanket energy down. They don't have to just take one person like they did with Kathy O'Brien or Bryce. They don't have to just take one person um, and take them off to the side and Manchurian candidate their mind. They don't have to do that anymore. Through all of this satanic pop culture and all of the things you see the Illuminati doing in TV and movies and sports and everywhere, it is a spell casting thing that they're doing. And they've cast mass spells, even through the old school music. And the mass spells have taken place. So you don't have to be officially indoctrinated in order to be a brainwashed, mind-controlled slave and to have the dual personalities. So many of you do. So many of us do. When we take on a rap alter ego, we're doing the same thing. What does this have to do with old school R&B? The whispers. The whispers I maintain, and Prince too. We could do a whole one on Prince. But the whispers and Prince are 2 shining examples of what I'm talking about being real. There are 2 excellent examples of Project Janus, y'all. Because for the Whispers, you got the only R&B group I can think of in history that had any success and notoriety that was led by twins. And we got Walter Scott and Scotty Scott. You mean to tell me his mama named him Scotty Scott? I predicted that Phillip Phillips would win the year he won the American Idol. I was recording my audiomentary, ironically enough. Lord have mercy, Jesus. And I took a break. And while taking a break, the engineer, my main man, Gino XO, big shout out to his studio. He gave me a lot of love. 313-829-6829, the book time. But my man Gino XO had, I probably shouldn't have put that up. But he don't nobody act crazy, y'all. Gino had took a break and he was watching American Idol, and we looking at the TV and we're like, whoa, I'm looking at all the contestants. It's brand spanking new, early in the season, and long list of contestants. And I'm like, looking at the names, and I saw Phillip Phillips on there. I hadn't heard nobody saying nothing. I wasn't paying no attention to American Idol. I didn't know nothing about it. But I saw Phillip Phillips, and I was in the midst of doing my documentary. The Most High was giving me all this information about duality, and I said to myself, "That's one of them names. That's that CIA Project Janus name right there." Like Scotty Scott, Simone Simon, who starred in The Cat People, Sirhan, Duran, Mary. Don't play with me. Tony. This multiplicity, this duality, that goes back to the meaning of the Gemini sign. The original actor, because you're acting today. If you're rapping, you're making music, R&B, your persona is as important as your music. You're acting. So you have to look at the origin of acting to understand some of these things. Acting and singing, performing, period. As a performer, this is the patron sign of performing. Gemini. People say that, Gemini is quite personable and can do some performing. I'm a few days from Gemini. I've been kept in the womb a couple more days, I would have been one. But you find this dual thing, this duality thing going on, and I said Phillip Phillips is gonna win, and of course y'all know he did. But this double name thing that you see, Tony, and the other examples I just named, Duran, it's part of the devil marking his territory theory. Fritz Springmeier had a good name for it. Why do they show you that it's them, or why do they put their signs and symbols on things when it's so easy for them to be totally secretive? It's part of the game that the devil has to play, and he has rules he has to follow. And one rule, he can't just bogart you. He have to show you, hey, it's me, and then you have to willingly choose him. So they put the signs and symbols on the album covers, on the gym shoes. Same symbol on your favorite pack of squares as on your favorite pair of gym shoes. Inverted, upside down, the duality of things. But the nature of performing is really about possessing, letting yourself be overtaken by the spirit. Because the original performing, you were performing acts and plays about the gods. And I'm not talking about the nation. I'm talking about the ancient so-called gods of Greece and Rome. Started in Egypt. We began everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm going to do some videos on that, y'all, because it was hard for me to overstand. It's going to be hard for some of you to overstand because black pride feels good, but it is a trick, and it is part of the mass mind control Lucifer is putting over on everybody. Pride cometh before the fall. It's why the Egyptians fell. But I digress. We're going to stick with music because I got 15 seconds. I'm keeping all of these to 15 minutes, or somewhere around about there. So, but just to get the Project Janus thing in. Project Janus, a derivative of, or a sister program 2, Project Monarch, under which you also find Project Umbrella, which was the government's mind control music program. They admittedly had one, Project Umbrella. But I maintain that the more secret one, the one that they don't let out, you can find stuff on Project Umbrella. Y'all look it up. Project Umbrella. Umbrella, L-A-A. People have already talked about that. So like I said, I don't talk about what folks already talked about. What's understood don't have to be explained. But I will go ahead and say that under Project Umbrella was some more heinous things. And really, Project Janus is the illest of all, because you do have this split personality machine that pop culture has become, pushing out demonic energy in order to cause one of those two personalities to be possessed. And that's going to be the dominant one. It's going to take over the other one. And it's going to be the new one, the one you created new, because you can't create yourself. You're not a god. You may think you are. And I understand what the Bible says, and I understand the little g God concept and all of that. But I know that I don't know. And that is what disqualifies me. The things I cannot do, the laws I must follow. There are universal laws. Karma affects me. There are things that I cannot escape, and therefore I am not the supreme. But I get the concept, y'all. I taught it. I used to build and destroy on that level quite a bit. But again, it took for me to see some things supernaturally, to go through certain supernatural experiences I didn't even believe in, to know that Yahshua HaMashiach, they call Jesus, is real, and to know that it is through that overstanding that salvation is found, not through simply your knowledge of self and history, because you have to include all of your history too if you're going to include history, and that includes our Semitic history. But even greater than that is the fact that the Creator is not a respecter of persons, and He's not going to let salvation be because of intelligence. Because if that's the case, I might not make it. A lot of folk wouldn't make it, if it was based on how much you knew, how much knowledge of self you had, and then you'd be straight. That'd be a cold God. You in Detroit, you in Chicago, you in certain places, knowledge is why our people are perishing for lack thereof. And education is a trick. Where do you get your information? Where you back up your Egyptian understanding? You get it from academia. Academia is by and large controlled by universities and colleges. All you know of Egypt, you know through universities and colleges, and therefore through secret societies, fraternities. So they feed us, whether it be black colleges or white colleges, it doesn't matter. They feed us what they want us to know and believe. If you let your God, your highest authority, be academia. My highest authority is my spirit. I use academia as a check and balance thing, but the spirit trumps it all. It says, test the spirit by the spirit. Be not ignorant in a small matter nor a great. And so you should know your certain facts and figures and things about history, and you should know of self like all other races and cultures do, of course. But don't be lulled or pulled into the trick bag of Luciferian belief systems colored black. Y'all act like you don't know what Luciferians believe, and then brothers say, well, it's our stuff and they took it from us, we need to take it back. No. We're talking about spiritual concepts. How can you take a holy concept and make it evil? There's no holy, there's no evil. It's New Agey. That's that Aquarian age, Luciferian deception that keeps you in the gray area. I prefer to be black or white, hot or cold on certain things. And this is one. It's not our stuff. It was given to us by extra dimensional beings, whether a person want to believe those were Atlanteans or the fallen angels, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, however you want to cut it. We all know and understand this now. It's coming out. It's part of why reverence was given to the snake on the Egyptian headdress, on the Uchat. The snake there. When you see Krishna depicted with the snake, when you know the serpent as a sign of wisdom, do you know the origins of that? What is it that a snake does that's wiser than the activities of an ibis, a hawk, an ant? It's not the snake. You find the word serpent, nakash, which is not a snake. It's a different word for snake and serpent. So this serpent was a being, walked and talked upright. It went to the first kings of the earth, as the Bible says. It says the kings of the earth gathered together and to set counsel against the Most High, and different things of that nature throughout Psalms, Proverbs. You find different verses speaking about the Illuminati, because the original Illuminati was the first kings of the earth who had made pledges and deals with these spirits back in ancient times. They were the first ones to do it. So everything first ain't best. Sometimes first is worse. Because real evolution, the evolving of things to the next level, like we go from Oscar Robinson to Dr. J to Magic Johnson to Jordan to Kobe to LeBron. Evolution. So we're looking at a betterment with time. The beginning wasn't the best. You strive to be at the beginning. In the beginning, there was great confusion, and especially great spiritual confusion. And it was partially because of the bold presence of the serpent on the planet. Now his presence has been disguised. It's no less bold. For the last days shall be as it was in the days of Noah. Bold it is, but it's covert and disguised in a way we don't look for. But again, I've digressed, gotten all the way off of the original subject at hand in some respects, because it's all connected. Because at the end of the day, you say, well, why the songwriter's secret? Why? Because despite efforts by Luciferianisms to taint the memory of our elder brother, a revolutionary, a black revolutionary, incidentally, Yahshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. And so we have to know that despite their best efforts, we can pull the reality out of any science that they try to hide from us. And they try to hide the science of the way, the real science of Yahshua, the real thing, what Christianity is supposed to be perpetrating as. Because Christianity is not the teaching of the way. It is a mixture of Satanism with the way, especially Catholicism. But a lot of practices, the speaking in demonic tongues, the falling out, there's lots of practices. But it's by the will of the Most High Creator that we are able, in these last days and times, you and I, to have a conversation like this. Thanks for letting me run my mouth, raggedy as it is, and long-winded as I can be. I love y'all. Ask me more questions about the witch language. I got a lot of songs for y'all. I will have my list for you if you need it. Just holla at your boy. This is Unplugem. Again, coming in the name of my master teacher, Yahshua HaMashiach, representing free thinking people all over the world. black, white, brown, yellow. Let's band together. One nation. Illumination. Shalom.